All right, we're live. Order 66. Sent you like 12 invites, homie. I don't know, man. DM'd you, added you in the thread. You're MIA. I don't want to hear about I missed you or you didn't get an invite. These dudes, man. Everybody got a lot to say until it's time to show up. But it's cool though.
Yeah, man. I did all my free digging, man, and he still ain't show up.
Digga, YouTube celebrity now. You don't got time for him.
Still shit posting though.
Still still shit posting. Let me see. Oh, we do got one person trying to get in. I guess it's hard to get in the first time, apparently. I think he's on a cell phone though, so I can't really help him. I hope you figure that out.
I mean, I'm doing mine off the cell phone, but shit, it's pretty straightforward, man. You just gotta allow, just you don't. It's straightforward. I can't really.
Once 88 and Gonzo come back, I got a couple of mod questions actually. Just some opinions on.
What's good? What's good, people?
Yo,
what up, though?
The let me go ahead and get your guys' opinions, then I'll get 88 because I'm sure he's going to be long-winded about it anyway. Do you guys feel like the term "cack" is a racial slur?
Nah.
I mean, nah, cause look, you could be saying cat for Caucasian, man.
Nah, CAC stands. It's an acronym.
I know what it stands for, but you can also say it's Caucasian. I'm being lazy, too lazy to say Caucasian, man. So
I mean, you can say that, but it's not what it is.
Do you guys feel
that's my code? That's my code word.
Do you guys feel it is used in a derogatory way on the board?
Oh no. It's used to describe white people. It's not derogatory. It's instead of saying white, we say CAC.
Yeah.
All right. If a Caucasian person found the term "cack" offensive, do you think there was any ground to stand on there? You think there's any validity to that?
No, because the term CAC it itself has it has like no standing in society. It's some shit we made up on the board. You feel me?
So terms like "cack," "jap," things like that of that nature that don't have an actual meaning are fair game.
Like I said, man, to me, CAC is short for Caucasian, man. I don't know what everyone else is saying, man.
Right.
Interesting.
CAC and white are interchangeable, man. It's the same word, bro.
Fair enough. Just something that came up, and I thought I'd get some other opinions. I mean, I'm letting it rock. I'm not, it's fine with me, but
CAC's getting offended, man.
CACs get it. There are a lot of CACs on the board these days.
CACs are in the feelings.
They've always been there. It's just that the difference is in the past, they just pretending to be black, man.
I'm not gonna say no names. Yep, that's a thing. And how do you guys feel about? There's a trend going on. How do you guys feel about tweets being posted as actual news, like Twitter being an actual news source?
Actually, I don't mind, man. Like, I think it's cool because it's a different sort of perspective, and like as a younger person, man, I mean that's how a lot of young people get their news now. Like, I mean, because tweeting has kind of taken the place of like live news, because like one thing I learned from the whole Ferguson situation is just how biased what you're seeing on TV can be. And I saw firsthand I would see firsthand CNN reporting one thing, but then seeing live footage and tweets saying another thing is going on, and you're just like, it's definitely an unfiltered perspective. So I think it is cool to get just different people's perspectives, even if it is, the random, anonymous person on the street. There's always three sides to a story. There's the two different perspectives, and the one that you put together. So that's my analogy. So I know who the person you're referring to, and I don't mind their multiple tweets. Like I said, it's just a different form of how people get their news now. It's fine with me.
I mean, using Twitter as a news source is fine, but I mean, you're not gonna get like an in-depth article from Twitter because it's 440 characters. So you might start the conversation there, but I mean, it's just like an OP. You say something slick in the OP and you get the conversation going. But I don't know how much the young people are actually using Twitter for their news, to be honest, man. Like, young people in my family, they don't even got Twitters, man. They don't fuck with that shit. They probably have some other social network that we don't even know about.
That new
Nah, young people do. Trust. Like, I'm 25 right now, so like, like my girlfriend and like, a lot of our friends, like, they use Twitter for everything. They don't watch CNN. People keep saying Fox News is the most watched network. Well, the way she gets information is she has like just different people she subscribed to on Twitter, and that's just how people get their information now. They get their information from different Instagram and Twitter. So I mean, that's just how, because people don't like to sit down and watch the cable news rhetoric, man. Like, they don't like that shit.
You're right, man. But getting your info from Twitter and Instagram, you know what? Which is true. I do get a lot of info from Instagram, but my girl does too. My thing is that all you're seeing on Twitter and Instagram is a headline. You're not really getting the news.
Well, I mean, it's very subjective. I mean, that's all some people want to see. Is like that's all people like. Like that's just it. Young people aren't reading these articles on the NY Times and XYZ. Higher learning is a different breed. Even if we had the same conversation with people in the locker room, it's a totally different perspective. They're not reading the New York Times or watching CNN. Most of them aren't. But it's just what it is. I mean, you say yes, it's not an in-depth thing, but even CNN and all these news outlets are still trying to reach out to the Twitter audience, man. Like they still post all their news on Twitter just as well. They'll short link, they'll hot link, a report. They'll say they'll put like a headline and a link to the report. So if you want more in depth, you have that option. But you can just see the headline and it kind of gives you some perspective. Like, oh, gunmen, went off and shot, XYZ people. That's all people want to read. And if they want to read more, they can click the link. That's what Twitter is. So.
Yeah, man, but all they want is ad revenue, man. And that's the only reason they're putting it up there, because they're hoping that somebody will click on their website. And at the end of the day, man, the same issue applies now with Fox News and CNN and MSNBC, is that people are still going to be living in their bubble, because you're going to only follow on Instagram and Twitter the people that you want to follow.
Well, yeah, I mean, but this comes down to a bigger perspective of what media is in this country, and that media has always been this way. It's just that now there's more knowledge, that there's more information out there, that we know that the media has always been a for-profit industry. That's what like Americans in general aren't educated on how to decipher media, and it's always been this way where these different channels and outlets, they're trying to subscribe to a certain base just to get them to watch long enough to watch the ads. That's what Fox News does. They cater to a certain audience, and if you watch their commercials, they're all drug commercials for senile people. That's who their target audience is. It's a for-profit industry. We don't have, our closest thing to a nonprofit news agency is like the PBSs and NPRs, and they kind of lean to the left.
88. How do you feel about Twitter as a news source?
Yeah, as a news source. I mean, I guess it aggregates, or whatever you want to say, news very well. So, but again, like Sirius was saying, it's up to who you actually follow. So, I mean, I use Facebook in a similar way which would be very similar to, I guess, how people use Twitter. I don't use Twitter at all, but I have news agencies I follow or reporters I follow. So I think in that way it's useful. But again, like Sirius was saying, if you don't know how to decipher news, it doesn't matter what you follow.
I love how it became such a popular news source once our president became an avid tweeter.
Nah, man. Like Twitter's been a popular news source for years, even way before Trump.
Or maybe it's just Napoleon making a thread every time Trump tweets anything.
But you know what? I don't hate it. I some people, they hate Napoleon. They hate Napoleon for it. I love it, man. Like, because I'm not gonna search for that shit, but I'm kind of interested when it drops, because like I'm not on Twitter. I don't follow these people, but the fact that somebody else is, putting me up on game on what somebody said or the different tweets, I'm cool with that, because I don't use Twitter. But putting it out there, it keeps me in the know.
Exactly. Not only that, but in Napoleon's defense, man, I mean, whenever the president tweets something, it is news, especially when it's actually him saying some dumb shit and not his handler.
Yeah, like you could make this shit up. He's tweeting shit 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, that's how you know it's him doing it and not somebody else. Who the hell? 3 o'clock in the morning, this motherfucker's going off, getting into wars with people, and his advisors are like, "What the hell are you doing, man?" Like that. I love this shit, man, because you don't get any other perspective like this, man.
Yeah. And I think another thing important to remember is that if Trump wasn't the president-elect or the future president, in the context of just Trump tweeting, it wouldn't matter otherwise. The only reason it matters is because he's the president-elect.
That's true.
Yeah, that kind of seems to be what the consensus is about Twitter. Early on, there was some posters who wanted Napoleon's posting ability taken away. They were so sick of the fucking Twitter threads, but I think that's really where news is headed. I don't think people are really tuning into televised news anymore.
Here's what you can do, man. When he starts posting random fucking people with 2 followers on Twitter, then you can start fucking like blocking his ass or limiting his posting abilities, because he does that too.
Well, I mean, you guys are talking about limiting posting abilities. I mean, I don't think Napoleon's a bane of the Coli or higher learning. I mean, you have people expressing outright white supremacist views in higher learning right now, and it's pretty widespread to the point it's just off-putting to even post there. I think Napoleon's tweets are kind of the least of our concerns.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna give myself an L for even talking about Napoleon on this podcast. It's fucking ridiculous.
I try not to use any names, but I'm
gonna always use names. I think we need to start using names. No, Napoleon's fine. He has a very high thread count daily.
Mm-hmm. We need that.
Which is why he stands out. But the white supremacists, the post. I
haven't noticed them.
They're
maybe you got them on ignore or something, man. Like,
nah, man, I don't have anybody on ignore, man. I haven't noticed any white supremacist threads, man.
Yeah, you just have to keep an eye. I mean, if you don't see them, you don't see them. But I read the forum pretty much daily, so I just see it, and it's like these are the same type of threads that are like fucking troll threads. Or the same type of content that is like on white supremacist websites and other like far right websites, and it's like
I've seen a bunch of posts that need to either be deleted or edited, but I've only seen like maybe 2 or 3 actual threads that were just so Stormfront they didn't have any place.
Yeah,
I mean the thing that I don't like is that I will not tolerate is this conspiracy theorist Canoon. Get him out of there. He should be banned. Like he was banned. Just he always makes this out. Like, it's not. He's beyond insane. Like, he should not be posting.
3 minutes. 3 minutes after saying, "I don't want to use names," he starts name dropping. Nice. That's I think it's just Koon, the Kyoon, right?
Yeah. He's been around for years doing this shit, man. Like, I was a teenager and he was doing these conspiracy theories that make no sense for years.
Yeah, I just think Kyoon's kind of mentally ill. But yeah, he's been like a prolific like poster on like multiple forums for like, I don't know, you're talking like 10 years, 10 years or more, maybe like 15 or 16 years.
Never mind.
But yeah, I mean, that's pretty bad. But at the same time, I got to say, some like the fringe shit that you see from, you know, the obvious like Stormfront plants and 4C plants, that is just as bad. Because I think like after a while, you get to the point where if you can't have a serious discussion about the topics without, you know, certain posters just going back to essentially white supremacist memes and, you know, Stormfront-esque posting styles, you can't really have any discussion.
I mean, you know, depending on who you're talking about, I mean, like there's some people that I don't mind that push the button and shit. Mm-hmm. like Elias, you know, he at least tries to take, you know, a more he's like dead when he takes like a devil's advocate kind of role, you know. He's different.
Real and how do you feel about posters like Cactus Planet?
He's garbage.
He's a garbage shit.
Trash, man.
He's trash. He brings nothing, man. Nothing.
Yeah, I've had him on ignore since, I don't know, 6 months now. The guy's he's a troll. He's a fucking troll. And
he's a bad one too. He's not even good at it, man. Like,
and the thing is, it doesn't foster any kind of serious discussion, and that's why I've put several people on ignore, because there's no discussion. There's no even you know, fact-based arguments anymore. It's you know, just like bullshit memes and, you know, just like fucking far-right talking points. And, you know, one thing that I disagreed with Brown Pride about in the past is, oh, well, if it's just bullshit, just argue your point. But the thing is, I and, you know, other posters and myself, I don't want to argue with white supremacists on the Coli all day. That's not why I post there or read threads there.
Yeah.
The thread that raised the most eyebrows was the one, why whites aren't the most racist and bigoted people.
Yeah, that was.
No, I saw that title and I tried to get past the. I just couldn't read it. I was just, you can't. No,
I didn't even see that, man. Is that in the bushes now? Is it still in the HL?
No, it's still there.
It's still there. It's bad.
I'd bump. It's on page 3. I'm not gonna bump it. That'd be a bad look. But
I'm gonna go check it out.
There was a video and a poll, and I think there's a little text. And what specifically rubbed you guys the wrong way about the video and the actual idea of it?
Well, I think.
Not saying white people aren't racist. The thread is saying white people aren't the most racist people on the planet.
Well, my thing with that thread, at least, with, you know, the content or whatever, you know, stuff like that and several other similar threads and posters, the whole thing is about antagonizing people. So you're not really trying to have a discussion. You're just trying to get people mad.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, man. I purposely stayed out that thread. It's not worth arguing, you know.
Yeah. And I think, like, you know, I posted a thread a few days ago about what the governor of Maine had said in response to Joe Lewis, and then, you know, usual people come in and, you know, are like, it's just you're pushing a completely false narrative and a false history to do what? I mean, I don't know. It's not good. I just don't think anything positive can come from threads like that.
All right, here's a question. If someone posts a dissenting or unpopular or controversial opinion and they present what they believe to be compelling evidence, isn't it fair to expect the other side of the argument to present evidence as well to counter that? Because he put forth a video, there's a map, and there's a little, explanation explaining what the graph or mapper is showing. And all the responses are like, just ban this cat. Like there's no. And then Alias actually posted his post. I'll just read it verbatim. I noticed no one has challenged the evidence though, just lobbying ad hominem at the OP. And that's pretty much what it came down to. Like, no evidence was posted to the contrary.
I think people did though. I think some of the posters took it on themselves to actually respond to it. But I mean, the whole premise of it was just such bullshit. It's like, why are you going to spend time even arguing about it? Because
so you think it's bullshit, and white people are by far the most racist demographic on the planet.
I think he could have posted the same video on fucking Stormfront.
How does that make it not true though? I'm asking you, why is it not true?
Why are white people not the most racist people on earth? I mean, I think from what I looked at, I mean, the premise is so fucking vague of what you're comparing to white people. I think, was it even in the context of America? Anyways, it's just such a fucking broad statement in like survey group that it doesn't even make sense. How are you going to say that white people, I don't even remember specifically it was in America or across the world, it's
now, don't you think
so much fucking wrong with it, and it's so fucking like the largesse of it is like, what the fuck?
Did you watch the video, man?
All right, absolutely. No, I actually agree with you, 88. But my thing is, wouldn't what you just said now be a better response than ban this CAC? I mean, in a forum like Higher Learning, wouldn't that have been a better response?
I'm not the person who said ban this CAC.
No, I understand. I'm not saying you said that specifically.
I think I did neg the OP though.
But yeah, I mean,
the OP's at negative
to a point. But like that, my whole thing is like that post, for instance, or several others that I see. What is there really to argue about? What is there to talk about with a guy like this? Because if you feel that way, I don't even want to be in the same room with you.
I hear you, and I don't want to use him as an example because it was an obvious, attempt to just play on people's emotions and get people riled up. But there's like a trend on the board where we don't give people a chance to actually be wrong or be ignorant to things and to actually encourage higher learning. We just kind of dismiss, ridicule, or want to see them banned if we, don't agree with or like what they posted.
Because when they start replying to shit, they start saying Chicago. I'm like, dude, I live in LA. You keep saying Chicago, but I don't live in Chicago. Like, that's why we can't have these conversations. They always want to come up and say Chicago this, Chicago that. I don't live in fucking Chicago. 88 doesn't live in fucking Chicago. There's like you can't. You want to talk about an honest conversation, but the first thing they say is something that's totally that you can't. That's apples and oranges, man.
Yeah, I just think. I mean, part of the reason people are so fed up with the current state of the forum is because a lot of this like. The anger that's been created over the last 8 months, I mean, it's not something that just started happening. This has been happening for a year and a half, probably a little bit before the election and forwards, where you just have people trying to incite racial hatred, basically, with these fucking threads, and then trying to push it back in your face. Like, I don't get it. So that's where I'm coming from.
Got to figure out a way to have these conversations, these race-related conversations, without one side just completely losing their shit. Like there's no actual discussion going on.
You need a moderator. You need somebody that's going to moderate.
It's impossible to moderate. It's
You're talking
one side,
to a moderator.
yeah, it's impossible. Trust me. One side begins because what happens is if you say anything that may be considered pro-white, then you're automatically negged and labeled a coon, and there's no conversation. There's like no conversation to be had, and obviously there's some white supremacists that have infiltrated, and they're just here just to post nonsense. But I'm talking about the like diggers, like the shit posters who kind of just get mixed up with all the white supremacists, and their threads are pretty much treated exactly the
same way.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, no, I mean, to a degree, I think the reason it's become such a flashpoint is because it's been going on for a long time. Whether any of us want to admit that or not, you know.
Oh, I do, because I was just in a private message. I was talking with someone, a former mod. Like, I like how the forum went to shit, and all the mods that were moderating it while it went to shit just kind of bailed. That was real smooth, but
like a little Brexit maneuver.
Yeah, they hit the little Brexit. Yeah, like, oh, these mods are asking for retirement. Oh, I'm not gonna be around for a while. Real smooth. I ain't gonna say no names. Real smooth though.
Abogado.
Yeah, real smooth. Total shit, and then it's like, where are the mods? They're like, we've been mods for like 7 days. This has been going on for about a year. So I don't take any of it personal. Not yet, but I think Trump being president, I don't see how you're going to be able to really temper this without closing registration as long as Trump's president, because he really kind of emboldens these posters.
Mm-hmm. And I think another thing that a couple guys brought up, if you want to look into it, is that as soon as you have posting privileges, you can post in higher learning right off the bat, and several other forums you can't do that. So I mean, that should be something that should be considered as well. And I see a lot of people come in who are new, who just got registered maybe in November, December, etc. They'll come in, they'll make a bunch of nothing ass posts in higher learning, and then you never see them again. So, I'm happy that registration got opened again, but at the same time, it brings in different elements who they're there to just, it's bullshit. And also it sets off flags with like people like me and people who've been posting for a long time, because you see these people come in. And I think the sub-forum has been dealing with like just shit posting and white supremacist memes and Trump.
88, you've been a troll for half your career, bro. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but I'm not on the forum. I'm not on the forum.
Stop the hypocrisy, bro. Stop the hypocrisy.
I make good friends.
Talk about it.
I post good threads. I make good threads. I share stuff all the time about it.
Listen, it's 50-50 with you though. Sometimes you come with some real insightful shit, and I've told you that a lot. Like how you talk on the podcast, like I can tell you're an intelligent, insightful dude for the most part. You know what I mean? You get on the fucking forum, man, and it's just like troll. Sarcastic.
88's threads are solid. It's his comments on other threads that are suspect.
Lacking.
Well, I don't know. I think part of it might be you don't have patience. I think you might have a little bit of arrogance.
Yeah, that's
you don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to stoop down. You don't even want to validify their post with a fucking response with a real answer. It's pretty arrogant of you.
I know it's unacceptable. If there was more like, and this is on me, but if there was more honest discussion going on in the forum, I would, when it warrants a good response, I'll write one up. But I'm not gonna joke around with these libertarians and these fucking hardcore conservatives about their political ideology when it's been shown to just not work.
Right now is just a bad time for discussion, period. Pretty much everything's dominated by Trump, Russia, and his appointments. There's no real issues being talked about because no one really knows what's going to happen on most of the issues.
Yeah, especially for America right now. I mean, there's just so much up in the air. I mean, I think some of the good threads right now are about these political appointments, which have been really, I mean, I think a lot of us knew what was going to happen going into it, but, you know, these appointment hearings they're frightening stuff. I mean, the Betsy DeVos thing, if you watched that yesterday, I was just completely miffed. And, you know, I knew she was going to go into it with this, you know, her political ideology, and charter schools are more important than education, basically. I mean, she has no experience at all in any facet of her job. And lo and behold, a lot of Trump's other appointments are like that as well. Where
Rick Perry the head of the Department of Energy doesn't even know what nukes are.
Yeah, he's in trouble. And I mean,
but you know what's funny though is that really Trump's presidency and these appointments are like a satirical version of the government that we already had. It's like, you know, like there were already appointments made based off relationships, based off favoritism, based off pay for play. There's already, you know, just people in ridiculous positions that really don't know what the fuck they're doing, who are really not doing a good job, who are really just inefficient, who are really just ignorant. Like we've already had that to infinity with past regimes, and now though it's like we turn that shit all the way up to 10.
Yeah,
like we turn the volume all the way up. So like if you didn't quite see just how ridiculous shit was, well now you're really about to see how ridiculous shit is.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have appointments now where these people, their lifelong careers have been fighting these government agencies, and that's who we just put in charge. And I mean, you're right also, absolutely. I mean, it's happened with Obama to a degree. It definitely happened with Bush Jr. I remember, you know, good job, Brownie, after he completely flunked the FEMA in Louisiana, and just so many other people. You know, people like to bring up ambassadorships. Those pale in comparison to the type of just skullduggery that's going on right now. I mean,
the back and forth between private and public has been going on forever. It's been killing us forever. Mm-hmm. This whole the whole concept of inefficient government has been, you know, like I said, goes back a long time. So to be honest with you, I think about this a lot. I try not to second guess the universe because I like to, you know, go with the flow of things, and this is how it went down. But I really believe if Hillary had won, we would still be very complacent. We would be very complacent in the situations that we're living in. For some of us, that'll work. But a lot of people are getting motherfucking stretched out here to the point where it's really getting stressful, and it's really getting like this is not even really worth it anymore. I'm saying all that to say, under Trump, everybody's feeling the fucking pressure now. Everybody is feeling the fucking heat now. And people who have not felt the heat that poor and minority people have been fucking feeling since fucking centuries ago, now they starting to feel that same kind of heat, and them motherfuckers don't like it, and now they want to do something.
Yeah, I mean, I think just got a lot of I don't know. I just think it's one thing now is it's opened a lot of eyes, I think, to a lot of aspects of the government that people didn't really think about as much in the past, because Trump is in office now, and you know he's gotten a lot more scrutiny than I think past administrations. And I think a lot of minor policy things that people really didn't think about before are starting to actually matter to people. So I think that's one positive outcome of Trump being elected, that people are just a little bit more aware.
So aware that they didn't vote? Shit.
Unfortunately, I think that this will be one thing that will lead to people seeing how important the government actually is for them. With any luck, I mean, it's going to be too late for healthcare. It's going to be too late for the Supreme Court. But you know,
I think how.
So wait, hold on. I have to. This is too easy. I have to ask this. Mm-hmm. So if you know 8/8, I'm assuming that none of this shit is really going to affect you, like seriously. So tell me why, like, how is this going to be any different from you? And like, why do you care about it all of a sudden if Hillary was just going to do a diet version of all this shit anyway?
because I genuinely care about people. I mean, I want people to be happy, healthy, and successful. And I just think the small government mentality and corporatism, it's not good for people.
But Hillary was going to do a milder version of what's happening now, and you were gung-ho for that. So explain that to me.
Milder, but what are we talking about specifically?
So all the things that were a fucked up healthcare system, which we've been had and will continue to have, a fucked up educational system, which we've been had and will continue to have, a fucked up criminal justice system, which we've been had and continue to have. I can go on and on.
Okay,
so yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, healthcare. I think that would we get single payer? No, probably not. And she said as much. But at least 30 million people wouldn't be losing their health insurance. We're projected to lose up to $300 million, a deficit of that much for health insurance, just in New York State alone. And I don't know if this is nationwide. I believe it probably is. But counties are responsible for their own Medicaid, sorry. And I mean, the poorer the county is, the more of a burden it is on taxpayers. So, this is going to have a serious impact on everyone's lives. So,
it's going to have a serious impact. And I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying. What I'm trying to get to wrap my mind around is, why are you're up in arms now when it's like at a level 10, like we said, but when it came to somebody who was maybe operating at maybe like a level 6 or 7, you all the way with it?
Well, I just think it would have been a more positive outcome for these people to be able to maintain their Medicaid, to be able to maybe fix Obamacare. If there's a repeal and there's no replacement, it's a straight loss for taxpayers across the board and for people in general. I mean, millions of Americans are going to go from having insurance to not having insurance. I'm old enough to remember that having to pay out of pocket for health insurance
sucks.
It's costly. I don't even.
But what do you say about the Obamacare being unsustainable?
I don't think that would have been the outcome, and I think fixing it would have been a much more doable thing than just getting rid of it completely, especially since there's no replacement. Education, I don't think it should be privatized.
No, that's one opinion.
It's an opinion, but it's mine to have, and I hold it. And I just think that there's too much room for fucking graft and corporate malfeasance for it to work. I think I don't want to see education turn into a money-making, business model. And I feel the same way about higher education. It's not good for taxpayers. Criminal justice. I mean, we're talking night and day. If Hillary's
night and day is because it's just now coming to me. It's just now coming to me that I don't think you see. I think I see the difference between Trump and Hillary. They're all part of the same elitist system, kind of cut from the same cloth, maybe with different backgrounds. He's more business, she's more of a political nature, but they're both serving the same purpose. You know what I mean? So to me, to replace one with the other, yes, Trump is obviously going to be worse. He's obviously going to be worse because it's for any number of reasons. But what I'm saying is that our previous system was not sustainable, economically, socially. It wasn't sustainable, and it was lulling us to sleep. You know what I mean? But the original thing I was getting to is that I don't know why you're so gung-ho against Trump when they both serve the same system. But I think you see Hillary is way different from Trump as opposed to similar to Trump.
I do. I mean, there's things where they could be perceived as similar. There's ways that I don't think she's not a change candidate. She's not pushing the boundaries of anything, but at least she could be held responsible, and at least at the bare minimum, her presidency would be more aligned with Obama's, which is still a centrist, as opposed to corporatist, privatize everything and sell everything Trump.
We were getting rocked to sleep though. You see what I'm saying? Like we were getting rocked to sleep and we were getting bled really slow. And now it's like, oh, the bleeding is gonna pick up a little bit. So we're like, oh shit, we gotta attend to this fucking wound.
Well, I think that one of the things to me is that potentially you're looking at Trump and his cabinet, especially his appointees, and the Supreme Court's impact, which he could potentially replace up to 3 or 4 Supreme Court justices, that it's not going to be able to be fixed. And that's a position that I've held since, before the election, before, it was even a certainty who was running and who were going to be the Dem and Republican nominees. I mean, this was everything. You're looking at 50 or 60 years of policy implementation that's going to have a serious impact that can't be changed on this country.
Do you guys feel like the focus on Trump and the presidency itself kind of distracts from where we should be looking, which is Congress, and how fucked up Congress is? Because nothing seems to really get done, or no progress really made because of Congress, and all the focus seems to be on who's in the White House.
I think you have to mix both, because I think
because Congress does, as of right now, don't have term limits. Like these are guys that are going to be there for a while.
Yeah, but they're not gonna change it themselves. I mean, we have a similar issue with a lot of corruption initiatives we try to pass in our own state legislature here in New York, and these guys they're not gonna check their pay. They're not gonna check their insurance. They're not gonna, impose term limits on themselves. They're all too fucking corrupt. And
what's crazy? It's crazy that wasn't Trump. Was it one of his promises was to put term limits on all the senators and congressmen coming into the government right now?
He proposed term limits. Yeah, he proposed term limits. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And from what I've heard, there wasn't they trying to pass it, but I don't know if it was passed already or did he just kicked it out.
It'll never pass Congress.
I know I have to say it.
It'll never pass Congress. Like there's zero chance that Congress is going to pass anything that fucks Congress. You guys just let that go.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was Cruz actually who brought it up, but it's just him trolling and just trying to get some political points. These guys, they don't believe it themselves, and it would be nice to see serious reforms in Congress and Senate. I think any American would stand by that, maybe unless you're a corporation.
Corporations are people, man.
Exactly. And but I think one of the real things we need to see is kind of like just straightforward. 1 second, ambulance going by.
Damn.
It's real out there. 88 lives in the hood.
Yeah.
88's in the hood. He's in the suburbs. That was just some old lady fell down. Y'all know that.
But I think you need more just nationwide policy for voting and just like laws across the board. A lot of the stuff that keeps coming up are the voting ID laws, the repeal of several sections of the Voters' Rights Act, and also, just the constant gerrymandering of districts. I don't know if you guys saw Obama's his final press conference today, but he brought that up too. And he said it works both ways. I mean, if your districts are going to be 99% Democrat or 99% Republican, I mean, you've completely diluted the democratic process. And that was one really impressive thing that he brought up at his closing press conference today.
How did you guys all feel about him commuting the sentence for Manning, the WikiLeaks guy? I believe it's a woman now. Actually, I take that back. Chelsea. Yeah, I don't even know what's going on with that guy or female, whatever it identifies as these days. But how do you guys feel about that? I know a lot of people were upset that he didn't do the same for some black leaders.
He should have did it for Snowden first and foremost. If anybody deserves to get partnered, it's that guy. Like, damn, they got a kill order in this dude. He can't even come back home.
He should have came back home if he wanted that.
Yeah, I know, but you know the minute he stepped down, they're gonna take him out, and he knows that, and that's why he asking for all these places for asylum, because it's like he thought what he was doing in his heart was right, but he broke a lot of laws, and not just.
You have a horrible microphone.
He broke a lot of laws doing this. So he knew that when he did it, he wouldn't be able to come back home unless it was by presidential pardon.
Yeah, and I did read online that Snowden never even filed papers for clemency. I guess you've got to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of shows where his head is at.
But like Brother Man said, he knew for a fact he could not step foot back on this soil, because once he does, one way or another, even though he's a high profile figure, they're gonna find a way to get you. Either they're gonna literally kill you, or they're just going to hit you with legal stuff and keep you locked up, keep you secluded, keep you like he was never gonna have a life again, and he may still never have a life again because he's still getting fucked up.
He's just become a pawn, basically. As far as Chelsea Manning being released, I don't really have a problem with that. I would like to read again what she actually released. I remember the Apache video was part of that, I believe.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah. And, just other stuff, to really have a better idea of the impact of what he actually released, which is crazy now. I think she's been in jail since 2012. So that's quite a while, to be honest. What's the point in keeping her there if she's just going to commit suicide or die in there? There's no more damage that she can do. And 7 years is a fucking long time in prison.
Yeah.
Fair enough. There's an actual change of the guard happening, and we have Trump as our president for realsies here soon.
Wow, that's crazy.
For reals.
That's crazy.
For some reason, I still feel like calling him president-elect made it still okay. Like, I don't know.
Not my president, right?
Yes, yeah. Soon he'll be. What's his name? Oh, Lewis made the comment that he's an illegitimate. Is that what he said? He's an illegitimate president.
I mean, it's fair game because of all this shit he said about Obama, man. It's fair game.
I don't think anyone who's been elected to office can say someone else who's been elected by the same process is illegitimate. That just seems way out of pocket.
I like that.
Seems way out of pocket. Like it's kind of like he's sliding the whole system, not Trump. Like I know he meant it to attack Trump, but Trump was elected through the same system that Obama was elected through. If it's illegitimate, then everyone who's been elected through that system is illegitimate. Like, what is he actually saying? Like, I didn't like that comment at all. I'd rather him just stuck with "not my president," just like the racist whites did when Obama was elected. Like, that's just fair game right there.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
But to question the legitimacy of our electoral process, I mean, as someone who's been elected through the process, is a bit much.
It's our lack of participation in the political process and civic activism altogether that's got us in this fucked up situation. Mm-hmm. If more people were involved in not just presidential elections, but like you were saying, you know where the fuck I'm going. If they were more involved dealing with the Congress and all that, man, it is about Congress because it all works together, and a lot of our laws are getting stopped or pushed through Congress, depending on what their priorities are, and their priorities are all corporate.
But the problem is, the major problem that I have with Congress and government in general is that once they get elected, right, they go from, I'm going to be in your block campaign, vote for me, and then when you vote them in, you never see them again. And you know what's funny? The minute they get into the House of Representatives, Congress, Senate, they always get lobbied by these corporate shadowy motherfuckers who got tons of money. And
You know what my problem? Hold on. You know what my problem is, Norman? Your microphone. That's my problem.
Hey, he sound like he got the T-Pain voice joint on.
You were auto tuning mad at him right now. Killing me, man. Killing me.
Let me see if I can find a microphone because I have the PlayStation mic. Let's see if I can put that in. I don't know.
There you go, Sony.
I'm using my phone, dog.
Japanese, they make good shit. All right, fuck. Oh yeah. Oh, so your soapbox. That's right. Not gonna happen, man.
I'm off it though.
But that's not gonna happen, man. Every time people start talking about everyone needs to come together, this and that. Come on, man.
Hey, bro, no. Listen. I'm not even saying. Hold on. Listen. I'm not even saying everybody come together. I'm just saying get more involved. So whatever it is you believe in, it doesn't matter what you believe in, but whatever it is that you believe in and that you think is right, get involved and advocate for that from your politicians. And I think that if enough people do that, there's enough good people out there that it will shift the dynamics.
I'm gonna stop naysaying it. Let me try something else. Would it be fair to say that a Trump presidency does more to get people active than a Hillary presidency?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
to your end, Trump was the better choice.
There's more than one factor in that though, because getting more involved in the political process is not the only. It's not the.
But in the long run, wouldn't that be best in the long run?
That's an easy yes, but I really want to give that some thought. That's an easy yes, but I want to give that some thought.
I've been saying that. I believe Trump. I believe this is what change looks like. I think this is change.
Horrible change.
That's change either way. As someone who was just disgusted by the status quo, I have to always vote change. I can't keep voting for more of the same when the same is just this apprehensible.
Hey, do you think Trump is gonna last 4 years, man?
I think Trump's gonna get 8.
Y'all can hear me?
Jesus.
I think he's gonna get 8. I don't see any. I mean, there could be a candidate that emerges.
I was about to agree with you because I thought you said Trump is gonna get 8 ATE. I'm like, yeah, he gonna get his ass 8 up, all right. Somebody gonna eat that ass up.
Pause.
Nah, there's no pause, but there's no way he's getting. First of all, there's no way he's getting 8 years, and I think the odds are extremely low that one way or another he lasts all 4 years.
This is everyone doubts Trump at every step of the way. Every step of his campaign, of the debates, like. He was, if you just listen to what people said, he was getting murdered at every turn.
Let me stop.
Here we are.
Hold on. Let me stop you there because you know what the difference is going to be? Because now that rhetoric is going to transform into action. Because now from up until this point, it was just him putting on a good show. And now he's going to have to actually show up like the president, which we all know he's not capable of doing.
Wrong. Let me stop you right there. Trump is a great businessman, and he's already giving back short-term gains. He's already constantly tweeting the job he's bringing back.
Hold on, time out.
These are short-term gains that are going to resonate with people. You guys see, we live. No offense to anyone that lives in the middle of the U.S., the flyover kind of states, but we live in these bubbles in California, New York, Florida. Like we don't really get it, but like he's bringing jobs back to people that really don't have a lot of options, and those people are going to vote. Let me say this. I think those hold on.
I think those are the people that already voted for Trump. I don't think there's going to be enough of that. I don't think there's going to be enough of that, whatever short-term gains you're talking about, to override the serious incompetence and mismanagement that's going to happen on the federal level as a result of his leadership. And it's already happening with the appointments. And then all the fuck-ups that are going to happen through his appointments are just gonna go exponential. Like this shit is going to spiral.
Okay. What if these appointments don't fuck up? What if these appointments don't fuck up? Like you guys aren't even entertaining the possibility that these people actually do.
I'm not entertaining the possibility. I'm going with the probable outcome.
Let's keep reality dead.
And was Trump being president probable?
That these two have nothing. Come on, man. What do you? What kind of argument is that?
I got to stop you in your tracks, man. Look. when they replace when they get rid of Obamacare, really the Affordable Care Act, then we're gonna see all hell break loose.
You know what? There's a lot of people who don't like the Affordable Care Act. Let me put it like this: if you viewed it as like cancer, I'll use cancer, and you get rid of cancer, what do you replace cancer with? Nothing.
AIDS.
You're just happy it's gone. A lot of people are just going to be happy to see Obamacare go. They're not looking for a replacement, and I really hope he pushes for a single payer. He said that he would. He said he's not opposed to it, and I think the only chance we're going to have of seeing a single payer is if it comes from a Republican. No Democrat's going to get that through. It's never going to pass Congress unless the left completely sweeps Congress, which I don't see happening anytime soon.
Yeah, so you understand that the Congress, the Republican Congress, they're taking something very tangible away. Having health insurance, that's not like...
it doesn't matter how good it is if it's unsustainable. That's what people don't get. You can talk about the numbers and people being fucked. If we can't afford it, if it's unsustainable, it doesn't matter how many people it helps. Like, Congress isn't going to defund the military-industrial complex. They're just not going to, which is what they should do.
Not until we replace Congress. Not until we replace Congress.
Well, that's just going to happen, isn't it? Oh wow.
That's
Okay.
not gonna happen.
Always so fucking pessimistic. There's a whole fucking process in place for us to do exactly that, and we're just not taking advantage of it. And motherfuckers are like, we're never gonna do it.
Hold on. Y'all saying that in our wildest dreams, we're gonna get rid of all these corrupt politicians from each state. That's not. You're not even in.
You're in love with a stripper? What? I don't know.
There's 50 states, right? There's 50 states. You got the House Representatives, Congress, Senate, and you telling me that we're gonna get rid of all of them in one fell swoop because they're all corrupt and they all need to go. They're not any good senators or congressmen now working for their people. They're only working for their pockets. It is highly improbable that we get rid of all of them.
Okay.
All of
This last.
Since you're agreeing with me, I'm gonna pretend like you're not auto-tuned and say yes. It's highly improbable.
Hold on. Let me tell you. This last election, we had the presidential election, vice presidential election. We had all 435 seats in the House of Representatives up for re-election, and we had a third of the Senate up for re-election. That is about 70 to 75% of the motherfucking government.
And how'd that go?
Hold on. But here's what I'm telling you: is that you're saying like hold on, because y'all are saying it's impossible for us to do it, and it's impossible, and it's just not going to happen.
What? You're right.
Because we can't overweight. If we would have come out like we were supposed to come out, I know you about to say some slick shit, so let me just get my shit out.
You're right. Impossible isn't the right word. You're right. It is possible.
If we would have
absolutely right, it is possible.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
It is possible, but I'm saying, let me just say, Obamacare was just terrible legislation. Anytime you pass a piece of legislation that half of the government despises and is going to work to undermine at every turn, it's just terrible legislation to begin with. Like, is anyone really surprised that they're going to gut it and leave people stranded? Like, they were threatening to do it while it was being written. Like, why would you even do that and create the situation? Do you think they're going to back off of it because of people misery or misfortune? Like, it was just a bad piece of legislation, and it was just a bad idea to even pass it. That's why you don't force shit through.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every Republican candidate for the foreseeable future at that time was going to promise to repeal Obamacare. Like, it was just doomed from the very start. Like, to even look at it now and try to defend it, it's just like, it was just bad legislation.
So should Barack have tried to push through anything, man? I mean, like, because they were trying to block everything he was trying to do.
Mm-hmm. So, Dad, are you for? What do you support then?
I would like to see Trump push for a single payer.
But that's a Democratic thing.
Yeah, wow, crazy. I know. Huh? That doesn't mean that it's not our best option right now. Like, we're in a hole, and it would actually be better than Obamacare. Obamacare is just complete trash.
Well, the ideal thing would be a single payer, but Obamacare is the medium. That's the point.
If you want to see real change, then you should just let the public get upset. You should just let people suffer and just let people get upset. That's how change happens. Like,
well, it's gonna happen soon. It's gonna happen real soon.
A quick look at history shows that by just sedating people, like someone said earlier, lulling them. Like, change isn't going to happen if we keep giving people just enough to get by. Like, you really got to make shit bad before people actually rise up and change shit.
People are too fucking busy just trying to stay afloat. I mean,
and once they can't stay afloat, that's when shit starts happening.
And how bad is that going to be? I mean,
changes have always been bad throughout history. I don't know where people get this idea of non-painful change. Like, when has that ever happened? Where have this idea of non-painful change come from?
Listen, the real question is, where are you gonna live then while all that shit hitting the fan? I know you're gonna leave the country. You're not gonna be here for that.
I'm
trying to stack my bread now. Fuck that.
Man, I've actually gone hunting a few times recently. I'm trying to get all my skills up. I'm trying to get all my skills up, man. I'm gonna start growing my own food, man. I'm getting ready.
Yeah, you sure you're not gonna go to a timeshare in Panama?
I mean, you're not gonna have a sustainable society. And part of the reason there was constant upheaval and change before in the past was because there wasn't democracy. You know, the problem is that people's voices are no longer heard in this country. And, you know, I know you're like, oh, well, we'll change the framework or something else will shake out. And Oso feels the same way. I just don't see that being a possibility. And, you know, if you have this situation where, I mean, what you're calling for, it's basically the end of civilization or society. So, you know, you're not going to, there's not going to be any pieces to pick up. You're not going to have, there's going to be no more economic system. So, you know, the gold hoarders and everyone else, I mean, none of that shit's going to fucking matter anymore. If that's your ideal situation for change, it's just, you know, you're kind of...
That's just a scare tactic used to keep the system in place. You know, it's not change is always bloody and ugly. Like, people in power do not willingly give it away.
You know, part of the thing was, you know, in previous centuries, you didn't have an interconnected, you know, globe. You just didn't have, globalization wasn't there. Your economies of scale were like very localized. You know, you want to look at like revolutions in England and France and or other countries in more modern times where their impact on the world is so insignificant they're not even a blurb on the economic radar.
So you think we're in a time where this oppressive system cannot be overthrown?
Well, the economic system you say that you care about so much, it's not going to exist anymore.
It's not just economics. This oppressive system that we live in this country should not be overthrown, is what you're saying.
I mean, you're gonna the whole thing that you champion. Capitalism is going to be gone, buddy.
That shows you lack understanding of capitalism if you think that's how it works.
Oh. As you know,
you're paying to down your breath to keep the capitalist system alive right now. They're doing everything in their power to keep it alive. Because right now, you can see it. You can see how everything is turned against them. The people are turned against them. They're starting to wake up. They're starting to believe the lies. But it's slow. You can see it, but it's slow. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, the positive outcome that you guys are arguing for is, you know, tens of millions of people dead. So
Well, hey, you know what's gonna happen? It's gonna happen sooner or later. Might as well just get it over with. You know what I'm saying?
Whoa, I think if we're going to concede that oppression is systemic, the system has to be the enemy and the target. And to say that we can't attack it or overthrow it is to just say that we've succumbed to the oppression. Because change isn't going to come from within. White supremacists aren't going to willingly vote their power away. They're not going to uplift black people from inside the system. Like, it's just not going to happen the way you want it to. I don't even think statism is compatible with being pro-black, to be honest.
Oh, that's a change.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think you can actually. I think if you support the state, expansions of the state, growth of the state, or the power of the state, you necessarily support white supremacy in this country today.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't. It's hard for me as a realist to imagine this new society because it's not going to look like anything like civilization for the
Change
last.
is always hard to imagine. That's actually a thing. That's not surprising or odd at all.
Well,
That you can't see that you can't imagine how things have never been. That's not shocking or surprising at all.
Well, in the context of history, I don't know.
All right, we're at over an hour, so we're gonna call it, guys.
Okay,
That's
good.
it.
Deb, before you call it, what is this future?
You can ask me next week. We can actually do a whole cast.
It's a quick spot on question. So, what is this? Is there just no government in the future? Is there no society?
A government will always spring up. It'll just be the downfall of this government, which you love so much.
I don't think I love the government.
You just want to hold on to it.
No, I just care about the general welfare of people. I don't think that's so absurd.
If that was true, you wouldn't like this government that much. All right, guys.
Yeah, I don't know about that.